Our top stories this hour. The Delta Plus variant of coronavirus has reached Nur-Sultan. Will the Kazakh capital tighten the virus measures? Stay tuned. New requirements on the border with neighboring Russia are in effect starting today. A surprise under the New Year tree. What holiday gifts do Kazakh citizens like to give each other and receive? Find out shortly. The Delta Plus variant of the coronavirus has been found in Nur-Sultan, the city's chief sanitary doctor, Sarhat Beysenova, announced. According to her, the data is corroborated by molecular genetic research. It's worth remarking that the Kazakh capital is now in first place in terms of the COVID infection rate in the country. 68 new coronavirus cases were confirmed there in the last 24 hours alone. Beysenova said that one of the main reasons for that is a significant decrease in the vaccination rate. Looking at the rate of vaccination, we see that 12,866 people were vaccinated from December 1st to December 15th. And from December 16th to December 29th, the vaccination rate decreased to a total of 9,949 vaccinations. Beysenova also added that a decrease in the number of vaccinations can lead to a failure to achieve herd immunity against the virus and trigger new COVID-19 outbreaks. Coronavirus breaks all records in Europe. In 24 hours alone, the UK reported nearly 130,000 new cases of COVID. The high number of infections is observed due to the rapid spread of the Omicron variant. Italy, Portugal and Greece have the highest rates of infection. France posted a new record for daily coronavirus cases since the onset of the pandemic, registering nearly 180,000 infections in the past day. New restrictions will be imposed in this country due to the worsening epidemic situation. Thus, from January 3rd, companies will be required to make most of their employees work remotely. In addition, mask wearing outdoors will become compulsory. Czech residents are asking that vaccination against COVID-19 be made mandatory. At the same time, the authorities intend to make it compulsory for health workers, firefighters, and citizens over the age of 60 to be vaccinated. Large-scale vaccine rollout in the Czech Republic will start next March. However, local MPs are against coercive measures. According to them, citizens should be immunized on a voluntary basis. However, according to the Health Ministry, the country has one of the highest COVID infection rates in Europe.
Došlo k oteplování.
Czech residents are obliged to receive a vaccine against 11 diseases. This measure has long been shown to be effective. Coronavirus should be fought in the same way. At present, 82% of our citizens over 60 years of age have been fully vaccinated. And in that group of people, the COVID death rate has halved.
A k úbytku pralesu.
Hundreds of Indian doctors are protesting in New Delhi. Doctors are unhappy that the young professionals training program is constantly being delayed. Graduation exams for medical students have already been postponed several times due to the pandemic. According to the protesters, the situation with medical personnel has reached a critical point. Doctors threatened mass resignations if the situation did not change. They say that the country could be hit by another COVID-19 wave at any moment, and hospitals simply don't have enough medical staff to handle the influx of patients. Kazakh residents willing to travel to Russia for more than 3 months will be required to have their fingerprints taken. All arriving foreign nationals will be obliged to undergo mandatory fingerprint registration and photography within 90 days, while labor migrants are given only a month. To do this, upon arrival, it is necessary to personally contact the regional office of the Interior Ministry, a subordinate enterprise or a designated institution. Besides, citizens who come to Russia will need to confirm the absence of drug addiction and infections, including HIV. Kazakhstan and Uzbekistan are set to increase mutual trade turnover up to $10 billion. As of today, according to the indicators over 10 months of this year, it reached almost $3 billion in US currency. This trade value is almost 33% more than the figure for the same period last year. According to analysts, exports made up the bulk of the trade turnover, which is 72.5%. It has grown $2.2 billion since the beginning of the year. Imports exceeded $833 million. The goods that are sent to Uzbekistan include wheat, flour, industrial products, various ores and minerals, textiles and plastic materials. Kazakhstan, in turn, receives confectionery, lime, gypsum, medicines, fertilizers and clothes from this country. There are currently about 1,500 Uzbek-owned enterprises operating in Kazakhstan, which is 18% more than a year earlier. Most of them are involved in the wholesale and retail trade. Over 1 trillion tenge was invested in Nur-Sultan this year. 80% of them are private investments, the rest is state budget funds. This was announced in the Investment Development City Center, Astana Invest. The volume of industrial production in the city grew by 14%. Positive changes are also observed in retail turnover. The growth exceeded 7.7% in comparison with the last year. Despite the quarantine restrictions, the number of operating small and medium-sized business entities increased to more than 161,000. This in turn led to the rise in domestic production.
Мы по всему Казахстану являемся и стоим на втором месте по инвестициям в основном капитал, потому что первое место у нас в Атырауской области.
We are at the second place in Kazakhstan in terms of investments in fixed assets, because Atara region ranks first, where the Chevron oil and gas project is currently developing very actively. But if we take the non-raw materials sector, then Nur-Sultan is directly in the first place, with 893 billion tenge of investments in non-raw capital over 11 months, which is a very good indicator. We are also the leaders in terms of the share of SMEs in the gross regional product. We reached 74% in the first 6 months, which is comparable to other cities leading in SMEs.
За первые полугода мы достигли уровня 74%, что сопоставимо с ведущими, наверное, другими городами по участию МСБ.
Since the beginning of the current session, the Mazhilis has approved and sent 39 bills out of 80 to the Senate. 25 of them have already been signed by the President of Kazakhstan. Mazhilis chairperson Nurlan Nigmatulin summed up the activities of the lower house of the Kazakh parliament during this year. The bills on the Human Rights Commissioner, on the judiciary system and the status of judges are among those approved by the Mazhilis members.
Қабылданған әрбір құжат ол ең алдымен еліміздің экономикасын арттыруға, халықтың.
Since the beginning of the current session, the members of the Mazhilis have worked out a number of new bills. First and foremost, they are aimed at economic recovery, strengthening the country's industrial potential, ensuring biological security, developing civil society, and of course, improving the welfare of Kazakh citizens. All these issues form the current agenda and will contribute to the further socio-economic development of our country.
Реформаларды және өзгерістерді тиісті заңдармен қамтамасыз етеміз деп сенеміз.
The first innovative nuclear medicine center opened in Kazakhstan in Almaty city. It is fitted with high-tech equipment, capable of making correct diagnosis of cancer patients in the shortest possible time. Medical conclusion is made thanks to the most high-tech screening methods, positron emission and computed tomography. All health research for Kazakh residents will be free. Similar complexes are planned to be opened in Karaganda, Shymkent and Oral.
Эмиссионный томография әдісі бұл қазір
The device of the hybrid type works by the method of positron emission tomography, which means a computer is a device combined with tomography. In general, this allows studying the body both at the molecular and cellular levels. And also, first of all, in 90% of cases, it helps investigate oncological diseases, diagnose them, show the effectiveness of the treatment provided, and change the sequence of treatment in time.
уақытында емнің тізбегін өзгертуге мүмкіндік береді.
Over 20 billion tenge will be allocated for the development of mass sports in 2022, the Ministry of Culture and Sports reported. According to the relevant department, these funds will enable about 180,000 children to attend various clubs free of charge. In his State of the Nation address, President of Kazakhstan Kassym-Jomart Tokayev spoke about the need to involve residents of regional and district centers in mass sports. So, this year, local executive bodies allocated from the budget more than 7 billion tenge for these purposes. Thanks to this, 146,425 people are already attending free sports in our clubs. Experts note that the implemented mechanism for the per capita funding of clubs will create healthy competition for the provision of quality services among providers in this area, which in turn will necessarily give a strong impetus to the engagement of children and adolescents in sports.
No harm to nature. Residents of the Kazakh capital will now be able to install a fresh and environmentally friendly New Year tree in their homes for the holiday season. The agriculturists of Nur-Sultan put up the spruce trees they have grown for sale. After the holiday, the tree can be returned and planted again. According to the forester, this way the forests will be protected from cutting down green spaces.
Қазір қаншама талдар кесіліп жатыр, иә, бізде.
A lot of spruce trees are now being cut down. The good thing about our idea is that it will keep them alive. Also, it's a lot healthier than spruce trees in pots. This is because the smell of pine needles has a very beneficial effect on the human body. We launched a sales system this year. It's not about the profits, not at all. The main thing for us is to preserve these green spaces. This year's sales are going well. We got 100 trees, 70 of them have already been sold.
Ағзасына өте пайдалы. Сату жүйесін биыл бастадық тәжірибе жүзінде.
Moreover, residents don't have to buy an eco-friendly New Year tree. They can rent it instead. Local agronomists will teach them how to take care of the tree. The spruce is called Siberian. As you know, fir is grown in our nursery. As soon as they rise, which is in September or October, they are dug up and planted in pots. Trees grow from 1 to 2 meters high. If people rent 1 meter of a tree, the price ranges from 18,000 to 25,000 tenge, and the price to buy a 2-meter beauty will be from 25,000 to 50,000 tenge. New Year trees should not be kept in a warm place, because live trees die in this way. Therefore, experts advise buying such pots only for those people who live in private homes. Gifts for any taste. Once the work rush in the year's most intense months ended, people in Kazakhstan had another quest: New Year's presents. Someone gives them only to the closest ones. Others plan to please not only family and friends, but also colleagues. What's popular this year? Let's figure it out. The best way out is to clearly understand what a so-called gift recipient is waiting for the holiday. But if the preferences are unknown, trends come into play.
Кто для украшения, кто для этого, в основном для свечек берут.
The interior decorations are the main trend of this year. Askar Kasembekov makes concrete products with his own hands. Authentic home decorations are in great demand among residents of the capital.
Больше в стиле лофт, что-то если...
It's more loft style. Some people order something grey. Others ask items suitable for the interior. They're items of the new style called terrazzo. It is more Italian and also interesting. Everyone likes it. Customers are always satisfied.
Что клиентам не понравилось.
In other words, now ordinary souvenirs do not impress anybody. Therefore, Kazakh residents are increasingly trying to be creative. For example, to present Thai massage certificate or instant camera. However, the capital's residents say that the most important thing here is attention. Although an expensive gift would certainly be desirable. The best New Year's gift is a car. Money. While adults dream of getting something practical, children continue to believe in miracles and wait for a gift from Santa Claus. The best New Year's gifts can hardly be found under the tree. It is important to remember that these are loving people nearby, who are ready to create a real miracle for us.